these days.
I know.
My teacher was verbal.
Hey, guys, shh. I have no time. It's not your fault. Okay. Number 10. The first thing I'm going to do is pretend that it's equals. So 2 times the absolute value of n plus 5 equals 2. Now, I know I need to break these up into 2 pieces, but before you do that, I need to get the absolute value by itself. So I need to divide both sides by 2. So I have absolute value of n plus 5 equals 1. Okay, then to remind you, absolute value equations have 2 answers. You split it up into 2 pieces. N plus 5 equals 1. N plus 5 equals -1. Minus 5, minus 5, minus 5, minus 5. N equals -4. N equals -6. All right, everybody, open or closed on -4 and -6? Open. Great job. What point makes the most sense for me to test? -5. 2 times the absolute value of -5 plus 5 is greater than 2. Okay, -5 plus 5 is 0. 2 times the absolute value of 0 is greater than 2. 2 times 0 is greater than 2. 0 is greater than 2. False. Okay, false at -5 means that my arrows will go out away from the false. And then we have to write the final answer, which is the thing that everyone forgets. N is less than -6, or N is greater than -4. Notice my arrows are going out just like my arrows going out on this. Okay, 2 more warm-ups of the school year. Let's go to number 11. Okay. -8. Okay, now before we start this problem, I want to pretend instead that I have this problem. Do you see how this problem and this problem are very similar? I just took out this business here and put an X. On the Post-it note problem, what would I do first? -3. So that's the same thing you do on this problem. And then on the Post-it note problem, what would I do next? Divide them both by -8, but yes, I knew what you meant. All right, open or closed at 6 and -10. Close, of course, Mrs. Talbot, you're going to have one of each. What's a good thing to test in this problem? 0, and I'm gonna. Okay. Okay, so I did the 0 plus 2 is 2. Shh. Absolute value of 2 is 2. Remember, absolute value makes something positive. If it's already positive, it stays positive. I think this is going to be true. Okay, so this time I got true. So I'm gonna put my true, my t at 0. And I always want to shade the true, so my line is going to go between the two dots. This is a Baymax style, although his eyes are really far apart in this problem. That's okay. And then we can't forget the final answer. -10 is less than or equal to a is less than or equal to 6. Arrows always point left on the Baymax style. All right, guys, one more warm up of the whole school year. And then what's going to happen is I'm going to come around and stamp your warm ups, just your warm ups. And the reason is because I want you to hold your packet open at the warm ups so that you can flip back and forth and I can stamp on like right next to the word warm ups because it's not on the actual sheet. Does that make sense? Okay. All right, last problem. Okay. I'm gonna do this in 2 colors. I'm gonna do blue and red. All right, so the top one is gonna be blue. Just gonna put a blue dot there so I know that's the top one. Go down 3. Slope is -2, so down 2/1. And then backtrack it back up. Solid or dashed? Solid. Solid answer, Noah. Okay. Is it okay to test 0, 0 in this problem? 0 is greater than or equal to -2 times 0 minus 3. 0 is greater than or equal to -3. True. So that means we are true here. So shade toward the true. Oh my God. Did you come to school late today? Okay, that's good to know. I saw you at snack and I was like, he wasn't just here just now. And I got confused. That was all. Okay. Last part. Up 2. Slope of 1/2 means up 1/2. And this one is dashed. This better not be true. So many truths. Is it true? Did anybody do it? Zero is greater than 1/2 times 0 plus 2. Yeah, that's false. Okay, so false for the red line means that I need to shade on the other side because that's where it would be true. Okay. Now, let's be very mindful with our time. So warm-ups are done. Set your packet to the side. Find this page. Find this page in your notebook or in your binder or whatever. This was in the video. Okay. All right, let's be very purposeful. As I drop everything, let's be very purposeful about what we're going to do for the next 5-7 minutes. This you should have done. We already did this. This is stuff from the video. And I told you guys when you came in on the block day that you were going to do sugar pea in your group because you need to do it yourself. I did all of them for you up until now. You guys need to do one. Yeah, okay, but before you start, do you know what step 1 is of finding standard deviation? Okay, hold on. Hold on that thought. Step 1 is to write the numbers in a column. Okay, do you know where I got these numbers from? From the other side. Sugar pea, right? It's number 60. Yeah. Sugar pea. Okay. Now the second step, step 2, is to subtract the mean. Look back at sugar pea. What's the mean? We already found it. It's number 60B, right? 40. It's the same mean as this one, but I didn't want you to always assume that it was going to be 40. It's just also 40 for that one. Okay, so we're going to subtract 40 from all those, square, add them all together, divide it by 18, and then square root. Okay, now, when I approach your table, so I'm going to walk up to a table, and you guys are going to take your packet, okay, and you're going to hold this page. You're going to show me the last page of warm-ups and then show me the first page of warm-ups. And if you have all your warm-ups, I'm going to stamp right next to the word warm-ups. Okay, so when I come up to your table, everyone in your group, take your packet, Show me the warm-ups. If you don't have all 12 warm-ups, just tell me I don't have all 12 warm-ups yet. Okay? You still need it. They're on the videos. Just do them right now. Okay, I'm only stamping warm-ups right now. Oh, yeah.
You're a really nice guy. He's trying to stop. I've never done the layer of tail in the room. What? My bad. You know what? I'll better my way. Wow. You don't have to stand up for yourself. No, we're messing around. It's just friendly.
Trying to do this in a focused way.
Finally,
How is it going?
I think
Because I was absent.
They're very easy.
Oh, this is fun.
the most recent episode is right there. So like build
Okay. But I have so much TV time coming up, so I like the recommendation. Guys, how are you coming? How much time do you need?
most recent episode because it's a Halloween episode, but it's May.
What do you think? Like 5 minutes, 4, 5? Okay.
They say Happy Halloween, but it's like May 28th. Been an error. Minus 30 squared is minus 5.
But it's in parentheses.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, yes. Yeah, but
He's looking really.
great guy.
Guys, are you working? I need to keep moving.
I've got all that, but you might put it on I'll work on some of them. So we get this all done. What? I just feel that.
Usually I round it to 4 decimals, so this would be 8889. Does that make sense?
You know, Nathan, you threw Yoshi. Are you always gonna run crazy? I wear whatever, I wear it. I wear it every. He's a great guy. the ones you can never. Try the
Does anyone want to check their number?
I appreciate it.
I did it literally on that day. It's not even like a better need to do
Yep.
I just have to make sure. I'll look at the date.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, it changes.
That was the easiest for students. Oh, yeah. What are genres like different? We oh, wait.
Noah, did you finish? Did you divide by 18 and then square root?
Do I do that for all of them, or do I add them all up?
You add them all up.
Oh,
Do you see what I did on that?
yeah, yeah. Oh, you learn from it.
All right, guys, I have no more time. This, all of these numbers we're supposed to add to 6766. And 6766 over 18 is 375.8889. And then square root that. Standard deviation is 19.3879. And you should have all of this stuff filled in too. Don't just cheat off of me. What's wrong? Are you sure? What did you get? There's just a little tiny calculator mistake somewhere.
Good luck.
Don't worry about that. Just fix it to mine. I'm sure you just typed a number wrong in the calculator. Okay, moving on. Number 64, please, guys. Okay, last problem. So shape and outliers determine center and spread. Okay, so this is socks, SOCS. Boys, that's enough. You have made me regret my decision to let you sit together. You've like pounded it in my face for like a week now. If you could just refrain from that and say, gosh, I think she's been through enough. Let's just try to do what we're supposed to do. That would be awesome. Thanks. Okay. SOCS is shape, outlier, center, spread. The shape and outliers help you decide which center and spread to use. So if skew or outliers, which center should you choose if you have skew or outliers? Do you know? If you're not sure, you can look back at number 45. If you have skew or outliers, should I use the mean or the median? Nope. Median. If you notice back here, we had outliers at 10 and 70 in our histogram, and so we use the median. Any skew or any outliers means that you use the median. If you use the median, what spread should you use? Did you think median and mean sounded too much alike? Oh, okay, so that's mean. Okay. If you have skew or outliers, you choose the median. What spread should you choose if you use the median? IQR. Okay. Why does it make sense to use the IQR if you're using the median? Well, yeah. So don't you need the median? You need the median to make the IQR because you go to the median and then you find the quartiles. Okay. And the mean, its spread is standard deviation. Why does it make sense for us to use standard deviation with the mean? What calculation do we do in step 2? Subtract the mean. You have to use the mean to get standard deviation, so it makes sense that they're best friends. Median and IQR are best friends. Mean and standard deviation are best friends. And your data set has to be almost perfect to use mean and standard deviation, which is kind of annoying. Okay. Now, at this very moment, you should have the ability to get 4 stamps. Let's talk about what those 4 stamps are. The first stamp is for 44 and 45. 44 is a resource page, which looks like this. So this is number 44. You should also have entries about your golf data here for 44 to be complete. 45 is these notes. You should also have the homework 53 to 58. You should also have 60 to 62 and 64, which is all of the standard deviation stuff that we did. And then you should also have the homework 68 to 73. Does that make sense? Okay, now I'm not stamping right now because I'm going to do the review notes and then I'd like to do all of that stamping at once. Okay. So this is the last thing we're doing for teaching wise. And then after we're done with this, I'm hoping to stamp everybody's everything. Okay. Number one, find the mean, median, Q1, Q3, IQR, standard deviation of the data set. Draw a combination histogram box plot. Describe using SOCs. Be sure to consider the appropriate measures of center and spread. That's what we just talked about a minute ago. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is write them from least to greatest. So 6, 6, 6. It's the devil's shoes. What? Crap. 5.5. Luckily, I had room in the front. Thanks, Sean. 5.5. 6, 6, 6. 6.5. 7. 8, 8, 8. That's Mrs. Talbot's shoe size. 10.5. 13. That's Mr. Talbot's shoe size. Did I do it right? Okay. Which number would be the middle number? 7, right? Okay, so over here to the side, rotate this. Let me rotate this and rotate this. Okay, so min, quartile 1, median, quartile 3, max. Does anybody know what this is called? The group of 5 numbers together? 5 number summary, beautiful. Okay, the median is 7. The min is 5.5. The max is 13. Okay, now remember I said ignore the median when you're finding the quartiles. So the middle 6, right? And then the third, no. Yeah, the third 8. IQR is 8. Do we need to write the formula because it's notes maybe? Quartile 3 minus quartile 1, 8 minus 6 equals 2. Okay, next I will find the mean. Do you guys all know how to find the mean? Did anyone find the mean before I found the mean and got the same answer as me? Thank you. Do you guys know what I'm doing right now? Yeah, finding the standard deviation, which is the last thing I need to do besides the graph and describing, but I found all this stuff. Okay. Yes, I'm actually gonna wait to decide that until I see the histogram. Can you guys please knock that off? Don't make me end it this way. I always look forward to this class. And you're kind of killing it. Okay, now, next question. Why am I putting parentheses on the negative ones when I square? Yeah, because the whole point of squaring them is to make all of the numbers positive. What's his name? Hello? Hi. Okay, thank you. No, well, it depends. I mean, a negative without the parentheses squared, you square first, then make it negative. Did you get 51.64? Did you round these? Did you round any of these? Okay. Okay. All right, all that stuff is done. Did I check off all the things up here? Mean, median, quartile 1, quartile 3, IQR, standard deviation. Okay, now I have to do the graph. So I'm going What's wrong? Oh, I accidentally square rooted the 51.64. One second. Oh, that doesn't even make sense for the problem. 2.27. Better? Okay. 2.2724. That actually makes more sense because the standard deviation is supposed to be a measure of how far apart the numbers are from the mean. So my answer was saying that they were like 7 away from the mean, but they're really close to the mean. So 2 is a much more reasonable answer. Anyway, okay. Now I'm going to come over here. On the test, we're going to tell you how to, actually, I think your graph is set up for you, so you don't have to worry about scaling it. Since the lowest one here is 5.5, I'm going to start at 5, and I'm going to go by 2s. And of course, don't forget to label your axes. I do. You were right. I was just about to make my axis shorter too. Thank goodness for a erasable pen. I need to live in a land with a erasable pen. It's necessary. Okay. All right, so we're going to do 2 things on this. We are going to do the histogram and box plot right above it, and then we're going to describe it using socks, but we need to look at it first. So first thing I'm going to do is the histogram. And remember, this bin is 5 to 6.9 repeating. If I have one that's 7, it's going to go in the upper bin. How many do I have that are between 5 and 6.9 repeating? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, how many do I have that are between 7 and 8.9 repeating? 4. Okay, and then it looks like we have 1 in the 9 through 10.9 repeating. And then we have 1 in the 13 to 14.9 repeating. I can already tell the shape. And Olivia, can you see that 10.5 isn't really an outlier now? Okay. It helps to see the histogram before you decide. Yeah, exactly. And this has got a gap, so that's going to be our possible outlier. There's not always outliers, but this time there is. Okay, so min is 5.5. I'm going to have to kind of estimate where that would be. 6 would be right in the middle, so quartile 1 is 6, which would be out there. Median is 7. Quartile 3 is 8. And then the max is 13. And the box plot is really great to help you see the shape also. Do you guys know how I made the box plot? What numbers made the box plot? These 5 right here. Okay, last thing for this problem. Okay, what shape would you say this is? Right skewed. If you forget which one is right skewed and which one's left skewed, just take out the word skewed and put tailed, and then see which way the tail goes. Right tailed is the same thing as right skewed. Outliers, we're going to say possible at 13. We're pretty sure that 13 is an outlier, but as I told you guys, there's an actual formula to find out. We didn't do it because we're only in math 1, so we're going to say possible. Now, if I have skew and outliers, which measure of center should I use? Median. And I already calculated the median over here. And if I use the median, what spread should I use? IQR, which is 2. That is pretty much all of the statistics from this chapter, all rolled into one problem, and probably was really helpful to do it all at once. So you could see every possible thing I might ask you about stats. The next problem, though, is probability, which is different. I feel like stats is a lot easier. So anyway, any questions about the enormous number 1? I think there's only a couple questions about stats. I can't remember if they're all together. There might be 2 of them. You're gonna have, I think it will be scaled for you. Yeah, I think it will be scaled and you'll just have to put the bars in.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, it's not bad. Also, I want to point out on your review assignment, no, end of period Tuesday. Do you guys see number 31 and 32 are the same types of problems? It's not asking you to do the whole thing. It's just asking you to do the histogram and describe. If I were you, just because these are weird numbers, I would just pop my head over to the answer key and check how they scaled it. I'd still do the histogram myself, but I would check the answer key for the scale before I start. Okay. Number 2, create a two-way table and calculate the probabilities. This is, it's not super easy, so you guys need to tell me. You need to ask questions and tell me if you don't get something, and I'm making this huge, by the way. You don't need to make it this huge. Okay. Two-way table. Betsy surveyed 7th graders and 8th graders about whether they prefer McDonald's or Burger King. Okay, we can already say that labels will be 7th grade and 8th grade. Doesn't matter if you put them on the side or the top. McDonald's and Burger King. Can you guys tell that they're comparing 7th graders and 8th graders and McDonald's and Burger King? So that's kind of the first thing. You need to be able to read the problem and figure out what are the 2 things we're comparing here. She found that 84 of the 7th graders, okay, so I'm going to underline this. 84 7th graders. Where does that 84 go? Bottom of 7th grade. So this is total 7th graders. 51 said that they preferred McDonald's. Where's the 51 go? Yeah, seventh graders and McDonald's. Do you have any questions so far? Okay. In the 8th grade, 71 students prefer Burger King. 71 students prefer Burger King. Where does the 71 go? 8th Burger King, perfect. Compared to 12 who preferred McDonald's. 8th McDonald's. Okay, this is what the problem gave us, the things to plug in. Now we need to know how a two-way table works to get the rest of the answers, which I'm going to put in red because I want those to show as answers I had to calculate. How many total students prefer McDonald's? 63. Do you guys all see where I got that 63 from? Okay. How many total 8th graders are there? How many total students were surveyed? 167. Okay, if there's 167 total, and 63 prefer McDonald's, how many prefer Burger King? Okay, now, yeah, so this is 33, and you can check it both ways. You can check it this way and this way. It will help you realize that you got the right answer if that works in both directions. Okay. Why are you murmuring? Did I do something wrong? Okay, all right. What is the probability that a student in her survey is an 8th grader? So probability of an 8th grader. Okay, yep. So the total 8th graders is 83 out of the total students is 167. Any questions about how I got the probability of an 8th grader? Okay. This is not required for you guys. This is a bar right here. It's just a vertical bar that represents the word given. Use that in stats class. You guys don't need to use it. But what it's telling you is that it says an 8th grader prefers McDonald's. What you're supposed to do is only look at the 8th graders. So I'm going to get out my little, this is the last time I'm going to get out my little post-it note guy. Okay. It's going in the trash right after this moment. Okay. So it's telling you only look at the 8th graders. What's the probability they prefer McDonald's? 12 over 83. Because it's telling you, okay, this is saying narrow your focus just to 8th graders. Okay, so it's telling you block the whole table out except for 8th graders, except for you need to see the word McDonald's. Okay, how many of the 8th graders prefer McDonald's? 12 out of total 8th graders, 83. if you want to, if you have things on you and you want to, this might help. All right, flip the page when you're ready. Was that everything we did in chapter 10 already? I think so. And then the rest is just chapter 9 review. Okay, here we go. So the next 4 questions are chapter 9, and then we have a chapter 8 review. All right, so absolute value equation. It's an equation. So break it into 2 pieces. You don't have to worry about a number line or anything because it's just an equation. Negative 10x minus 4 equals positive 96. Negative 10x minus 4 equals negative 96. And some of you guys are having a little heart attack because you're like, but absolute value makes it positive. Okay, but that affects the constant on the outside. This issue is you don't know what x is, so you can't force this to be anything else because you're not sure. Okay, so plus 4, plus 4, plus 4, plus 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. That problem is done. Now, if you were forced to do this on a number line, those would just be 2 closed dots, but you don't have to do a number line when it's just an equation. Any questions about number 3? Okay. Okay, step 1, inequality, pretend that it's equals. Step 2 is solve. Closed. And test 0. Well, so arrow go towards 0 or away from 0? Away, beautiful. Final answer, m is less than or equal to negative 1. My arrow pointing to the left because my arrow is pointing to the left. Okay, now number 5 is spicy. I'm going to admit. Yes. No. I have started getting really picky on the y equals mx plus b one. So if the x is missing, I'm taking off a point. That's chapter 2. But my child, my youngest child, always wrote all of their problems with x's in them, even no matter what the letter was. Yeah, it's good. It's good. Okay. Number 5. Step 1, pretend it's equals. And this one, you can call me a jerk if you want, but I'm putting this on here to try to trick you into making this -7. And it's not -7. That's not what you do there. Does anybody know what you do there? Minus what? Now it makes more sense once you see it. And then this problem has all too many 9s in it. I don't know what's happening with the 9 situation here. Sheesh. Correcto. We have to test 1. I know. But don't be upset because 9 times 1 is 9, minus 9 is 0. So it actually makes it easier. Notice how my arrows point left, but I did not put the or equal to's on them because they're not in the original problem, and it's okay. I have to finish this in the next like 4 minutes if I have any chance of stamping. I think I can do it. Okay. Down 2, slope of -1 means down 1 over 1. Solid. Feels like this is kind of overkill because we just did this in the warm-ups, but that's fine. Okay, now we have a special one here. Y is less than -1. Y equals -1 is horizontal at -1. It's also dashed. So Remember the X ones are vertical and the Y ones are horizontal. And if I plug in 0, 0, I get 0 is less than -1, which is also false. Okay, last problem. Exponential equation. Step 1, put your things in a table, making sure that you have a spot for 0. What's wrong? Okay, how many B's does it take? 5. I feel like these numbers are very specific. Okay, now, reminder, the fifth root, if you're using this kind of calculator, is in the maths button. And you scroll down to the one that has a little X in it. And you got to put a 5 there. No, no, no. Yes. You have to leave it all the way, the whole decimal. Otherwise, you're not going to get the nice answer of 0.8. Okay, so that's B. Now I have to get A by multiplying. So I got to go for negative 46.875 times 0.8 times 0.8 times 0.8 to get A, which is right next to the 0. You guys know to multiply going down the table and divide going up the table, correct? Okay,